Organized team activities have officially begun for the Minnesota Vikings as today was their first day. They'll go out or go throughout the week. I think it's today, tomorrow, and then they resume practice on the 30th. It's basically like a couple days on, a couple days off, or at least one day off in between a couple different practices. Now, this is a step below training camp. Obviously, we still have mandatory mini camp where uh, I believe shoulder pads and helmets are introduced at that point in time. Then we get into training camp where you basically start from where you did in OTAs, you work your way up. So no pads to shoulders and helmets, and then full contact. You're ready to rock and roll. You're hosting practices and stuff like that with other teams. But we're in OTAs right now. Basically, everybody is there. So what do we need to keep an eye on during the OTAs? And I wouldn't even say just OTAs. I think this goes for mandatory minicamp and training camp as well, and the entire preseason before the regular season gets underway. So let's get right into it. Before we do, shout out to our affiliate partners at Green Gridiron. If you want one of these mini helmets, the link for that is in the comment section. It's also in the description, and use the promo code MINSYN, MINSYN at checkout to receive a discount on your purchase. If for some reason you don't want this Minnesota Vikings helmet, you want maybe their original Vikings helmet, or you want a different NFL team helmet, they have all of them, okay? If you want a college football helmet, they have all of them. If you want to customize your own, go for it, because Green Gridiron has that as well. So hit that link in the description or the comment section. Use the promo code MINSYN at checkout to receive that discount. So the Minnesota Vikings have gathered at TCO Performance Center this week to begin their first wave of OTA workouts. Now, the practices are designed to prepare for the team's mandatory minicamp next month, but they're also the first look at some of the players the Vikings fans or us have been curious about heading into this upcoming season. So, obviously, everyone will focus on J.J. McCarthy. Some will wonder about the offensive line. Even new additions like Jordan Mason and Jonathan Allen will probably get some ink from the local media and probably from us as well, but we can't just focus on those guys, okay? Because Minnesota's secondary, okay, may be the position that has the most to lose. The secondary feels like the unsung hero in Brian Flores' defense. With so much talk about pressure and getting after the quarterback, fans naturally focus on Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, or even Dallas Turner as he enters his sophomore season. Still, the secondary gets thrown into the spotlight when that front can't get to the quarterback. It's been that way the past 5 years, past 8, maybe 10 years. Our secondary has just really been not great. The only upside to our secondary has been Cam Bynum. He's an Indianapolis Colt now. And Harrison Smith. He's on the verge of retirement. This might be his last season. Okay. But case in point, the Vikings tied for fourth last season with 49 sacks and sixth with a 25.3% pressure rate. However, Minnesota had trouble shutting down passing attacks. Their 242 yards per game were the fifth most in the league. Minnesota's 14-3 record can explain part of this. If the Vikings are ahead most of the time, their opponent will throw to get back into the game. While their 7 yards per attempt allowed last season, tied for just 11th, reflects that, it also didn't account for the shuffling that was forced upon them. Now, the cornerback room was an unstable position from the beginning of the season, right? It goes all the way back to, I believe, the July 4th weekend when we heard of the tragic passing of Kyrie Jackson, okay? That deprived the room of a promising rookie. And the Vikings took another blow during their first training camp practice when they lost Mekhi Blackmon for the season after tearing his ACL. Okay. Those were two just not great to start the season, right? Now, Shaquille Griffin, or Shaq Griffin, proved to be a fine free agent pickup, which was awesome. And the Vikings signed Stephon Gilmore at the 11th hour to curb the damage. But neither of those players can help a revamped unit. They're good. They're good plug and play players. Basically, that's what they've been the last couple seasons, and they proved that they were okay for us last year, right? But Byron Murphy Jr. was the star for Minnesota secondary last year. He grabbed 6 interceptions, making 5 pass breakups, and posted a 79.3 passer rating in coverage. That's according to Pro Football Focus. Now, the Vikings rewarded him with a 3-year, $54 million contract in free agency, which Some may say we probably should have gave that to Cam Bynum, but we still have Josh Metellus and Harrison Smith and stuff like that. But still, it's fair to wonder if last year was a coming-of-age campaign or if he's more like the player who allowed 102 passer rating in coverage in 2023. Byron Murphy, very inconsistent. Last year, however, because he had to be the star, he had to step up. I think he proved to everyone that maybe he is a top corner in this league, and hopefully that stays this season. Now, cornerback isn't the only position with questions. Now, the Vikings overhauled their safety group when Cam Bynum left for the Indianapolis Colts in free agency, while Harrison Smith and Josh Metellus are still there. Okay? Smith is 36 years old, and Josh Metellus played more in the box than Bynum's coverage role. Josh Metellus was used as the nickel corner basically all season. He was used for blitz packages and stuff like that. He really didn't play much safety. So I would expect him to play this similar role. So we basically only have Harrison Smith in that backfield. And that puts a big spotlight on fourth-year safety Theo Jackson. Now, Vikings coaches have put out a positive jump beat since the Tennessee Titans waived him in August of 2022, but Smith gave a positive review when speaking to the Athletics' Alec Lewis in April. That is a really big question mark at the safety position, is how well will Theo Jackson fit in this Brian Flores defense? There was other options out there in free agency, and we decided to stick with Theo Jackson, probably because of the cap situation, or he just cost less money. I have no idea, but it's still a point to kind of look at and be like, okay, how is this going to work out this upcoming season? So if you're focusing on anything, yeah, go ahead, focus on JJ McCarthy because he's the starting quarterback. Focus on the new free agents that we brought in this year, the offensive line, the defensive line, whatever, but really keep a close eye on how this secondary comes together, how well we're going to perform this season. It's been a rocky couple of years. Hopefully this is the right crew. Maybe we have a couple more additions down the line to that corner room or even anywhere in the secondary, because I think that's the place the Minnesota Vikings, or that's the biggest weakness on the Minnesota Vikings right now, is the secondary. And hopefully that doesn't hurt us down the line. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skull Vikes.